expenses of $1,408,000. When it's all said and done, we'll have a ending balance of $41,658.87. To help us in the road and bridge fund, we've been carrying over $200,000 to $300,000 in gasoline tax monies in the last couple of years. And it looks like we'll have that again in 2025. So what I did was I took 75% of the road and bridge salaries, and I budgeted that out of the gasoline tax carryover and estimated revenues, which would free up road and bridge fund money for their road project.
So you're taking it, you could just, because salaries come out of road and bridge, so you're
Yeah.
gonna take the gas tax of 300 and put it over into the road and bridge, is that what
Well,
you're saying?
no, I'm gonna budget 75% of the expenses that would normally be paid out of road and bridge. I'm gonna pay it out of gasoline tax.
Okay.
So, as a result of that, in road and bridge, we're obviously reducing our revenues by that almost 631,000 because of the reallocation of the inside millage. What I found out, and just recently, is that our current year resurfacing costs are much lesser than what I appropriated. I appropriated almost I appropriated 875,000, of which we're only going to spend about 470,000. Largely due to the fact that we got an OPWC grant for
Right.
good.
Barth and Quinn.
Yeah. So
Plus, those costs were lower this year.
Yeah.
They lowered the estimates when we were putting the projects together, and then they came in significantly under even those revised estimates. So, yeah, it's moved the right direction there this past year.
So I'm showing a negative fund balance of $306,512.10 at the end of next year. But based on what we just said, I think that's going to be closer to zero, due to the fact that, you know, that this budget, when I produced it, was under the impression that we were going to spend all $875,000, which we're not. So we're going to be in much better shape in the road and bridge fund than originally thought.
So once we carry that over, that'll
So
get us out of the deficit.
We have been building some funds towards this Moreland project with that total failure that's scheduled for next year for repair, or total rebuild. And that estimate was 1.2 million, I believe. Once again, we're hoping that's on the high side, but we have been building some funds towards that because knowing this was a big
Okay,
project
so
that
we
we
let
would,
Carl in.
big project that we didn't have.
We lock Carl out.
Keith, hit the button on the,
Okay.
so it goes to green.
Or tell Carl to take the hint.
Thank you.
No
Crash to private.
So while it's still going to be tight, we'll have a better idea towards the end of the year as we carry over in the first part of next year. We should have enough money to pay salaries and keep the lights on. Just to note, it was pointed out by the County Budget Commission last year that we were still carrying a coronavirus relief fund. We passed a resolution a few meetings ago to return that back to the state, and I did send a check for that money to the State of Ohio Office of Budget and Management, so that fund is now zero. The ARPA fund, you don't see any balances there. That's because that money was appropriated, but we do have $24,019.27 in the ARPA fund, which is not committed at this point. And if you know, I think we have until the end of next year to spend it. We might have until the end of this year to commit a project to it, so we may want to consider that before the year's over. Also, there was a transfer of $75,000 from the general fund earlier this year into the museum, special revenue museum fund. And unless we come up with something to spend that on, that'll probably carry over. And I think for the cemetery, we've got about, probably about 25,000 left in there after the monument restoration is done.
And that's the last third that'll be used next year for our 3-year plan.
Okay. So that's, so based on, you know, where we're at, it looks like we'll have about $344,000 total to carry over in the next year, but I anticipate at least double that. So that's what I'll be going to the county with, and I think, Gene, you said you would
Yes, I'll attend with you.
go with me? I don't think I got
Do
any
we
other-
have to reallocate that inset millage by motion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna do that.
We'll do that during the meeting.
We've never done that.
So this is just the hearing, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we've never done that. I suppose this is a unique situation. That's something some townships in the county fight over every year, is how much money they send R&B.
Yeah.
So, we've never done that here.
And the way it was explained, we can at any time change that back, you know, for the
Like, think
following year.
And we'll still be able to do some road projects, because even though we plan those in January or February, they're never due until July.
Right.
Right.
So,
And the budget as it sits right now,
Right.
you're allocating, $1 million for projects, right?
Some of which we've been carrying over for a couple of years now. We've
Yeah,
been building,
just for this
we've been
project.
building towards this big project, because
Right.
there's no state or outside funding available for a subdivision road like that.
And then we've got the levy in November if that.
Well,
passes.
and the numbers
That's a
point
bonus.
to the need for that, yeah.
Okay. Any questions from the audience?
Yeah. When is the budget hearing for you, Dan?
August 19th, I believe.
August 19th.
Yes, 1:15 maybe in the
Oh,
afternoon.
you're in the afternoon, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. I will make a motion to close the budget hearing.
I'll second.
Gene,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes. Okay, so we have 5 minutes until the